So what's good, everyone? We are here on day 9. We've got 1 week out of the way. We're looking into the second day of our second week, and this is all about fluid movement. So it does require more concentration on the breath and the connection with the movement, and then just finding that flow from one movement as we transition to another. So I want you to take your time with this one. Be compassionate with yourself if you don't get it straight away. You can always revisit this workout and perfect those little areas that you feel need work. So don't need anything but a mat, some fluid for hydration, and let's begin. So we're going to come onto our backs, knees up, feet down on the ground. And I want you to bring your right hand on your heart and your left hand on your belly, and feel free to close your eyes down for this first section, as this is just us tuning into the breath, feeling the flow and the rhythm of the breath. Feel the breath as it enters through the nostrils, expands the rib cage and inflates the belly. Then feel the outward breath through the mouth as it deflates the belly and contracts the ribs. I want you to bring your thumbs to the rib cage, the base, bottom rib, and then your pointing fingers to top of your hips. And you want to feel the hips draw down towards you and the ground as you exhale, and then feel the top of the rib, the hips rise up as you inhale. So you're looking for a subtle tilting forwards of the hips and then rolling backwards. And during day 3, we visited the pelvic tilt, which is what we're performing here, and it's that subtle movement through the hips to bring the lower spine into alignment and begin the process of core engagement. So with each of these movements that we work through today, really draw your full attention to how you perform them and use it as a moving meditation, so to speak. It's great for de-stressing, but it's also a beautiful way to deepen that connection between your breath, the motion, and enrich that relationship with yourself. Find a nice neutral position for the hips, and you can set your hands down by your side. And we're looking to keep the rib cage down and expanding out as we breathe in, and the shoulders nice and stable. So with the inward breath, let's float the arms overhead, finding some stability through the rib cage. And as we exhale, float the arms back down by our side. So you should feel the spine from the back of the head all the way down to the tailbone, imprinted in the mat at all times through this movement. Let's bring in your awareness to your alignment, your position on the mat, while moving through this full extension of the arms to bring them back down by your side. Now actively reach through the fingertips as you float the arms overhead, but draw the shoulders away from the ears down the spine. So we're keeping that space between the shoulders and the ears. And last arm float overhead. And then bring the arms back down by your side. Draw your attention and awareness to your hips. And as you exhale, gently slide one heel to the bottom of the mat. And then inhale, slide it back in. Change leg. Exhale, slide nice and light. And your main focus here is the stability of the hips. We're just bringing that awareness to the box. And that's that point that I discussed during day 3, from hips to hips, shoulders to shoulders. And all we're trying to maintain is that alignment of the spine and stability through the hips and the shoulders. And one more time on the opposite leg. And inhale, draw the heel in. And then bring the thighs together, gently squeezing, arms out to the side in a T shape. And then twist the hips over to one side, looking over the opposite shoulder. Keep the back of the arms and shoulders grounded. Inhale to come back to center. Exhale to twist to the opposite side. So we're gently articulating the lower spine. Encouraging as much movement as possible. Trying to discover more freedom. Last one, bringing the hips back to center. Feet down. Float the arms past the hips and gently curling up by tucking the chin slightly, lifting the chest towards the thighs for 100s, relaxing through the shoulders. Deep breath in, and as we exhale, begin to pump the hands 5 times. And same thing on the inhale. 5 pumps on the inhale, 5 pumps on the exhale. Stability through the torso, shoulders, squeezing the thighs together nice and gentle. 10 breaths in total. Relax through the throat, so there's no tension, but there's a nice open sensation through the back of the neck. Last breath. Taking a pause before rolling down through the spine. Pull both thighs into the chest, and then gently roll up to a seated position. We're transitioning onto our front for downward dog. So coming through tabletop, hands beneath the shoulders, lift through the knees and hips, send the hips back for downward dog, stretching out the back of the legs. Gently walk through your dog. And notice as you draw the hips towards the back of your mat, your chest lowers down towards the ground and your thighs. You're opening the edges of your body. Remember to keep the shoulders away from the ears, drawn down the spine. And at the same time, you're pushing through both arms, gently gripping into the mat with all 10 fingers. Find stillness in your downward dog. And then inhale, send the wave through the spine, tucking your hips And through plank, sending the hips down to the ground for upward dog. And then inhale, send the hips up and back for downward dog. So as we work through our up dog to down dog, keeping the shoulders away from the ears and sending the hips back, finding great length through the back edge of the body. Just generating some heat, staying connected with the breath. And as we send the hips back down to the ground, point through the toes and glue the tops of the feet to the mat. And slowly roll down through the spine, resting the forehead on the floor. Set the forearms down each side of the shoulders and take a breath out. Lift the head and chest off of the ground. For swan prep, look over the left shoulder, back to center, roll down through the ground. And roll up. Look over the opposite shoulder. So we're keeping it a gentle tucking of the chin, so our spine is neutral from the crown. Just twisting as we look over one shoulder through to the other. Articulating through the neck, but also working into our lower back as we lift the chest off of the ground. And last one. Send the hands either side of your chest, flex feet, press away from the ground, nice and strong, and lift into downward dog. And take a nice deep breath, roll through the spine into plank. Find that tension through the arms, but relaxation through the shoulders. Loads of space between the shoulders and the ears. Squeezing through the glutes. Squeeze the tops of the thighs. One final breath in, float the knees down to the ground. And then roll all the way down, bending through the elbows. Resting your forehead on the floor. So we're going to send our hands, just needed to check there, behind us. And interlace the fingers. Squeeze the thighs together. Bring the feet together. And as we push your wrists down towards the feet, lifting the chest and the shoulders off the ground. Inhale, bend through the elbows and rest on the small of your back. Double kick through the left leg, pulling the heel towards your buttocks and back down. Switch right leg. Beautiful. Extend through the lower back, lifting the chest, stretching the arms, and pull back in on the inhale. Single leg kick. So now as we roll down, want to look over the left shoulder, single leg kick. Bring the head back to center as we lift through the head and the chest. And then look over the opposite shoulder. Squeezing through the backs of the thighs as we kick. One more time. Beautiful extension through the back. Twist through the neck. Single leg kick. And then release the hands. And bring them either side of your chest. Push the hips up and back into child's pose, resting the forehead on the floor. Gentle stretch through the lower back, swaying through the hips, and then inhale, roll up through the spine into downward dog. Holding downward dog for single leg pull, taking the right leg up and back, pulling through the glutes, back of the thigh, and then send the right leg back down. Opposite side, pull through the left leg, glutes and the backs of the thighs, and gently send it back down to the ground. You want to keep the hips level as you lift and pull, so you're not twisting through the spine. Grounding through both hands, pushing through both arms. One more time on each leg. Relaxing through the shoulders, keep them drawn away from the ears so we're not drawing tension into the neck. Last one. Beautiful. Bend through the knees, set them down on the ground, and send the hips back into child's pose. Inhale, roll up through the spine. Set the hands behind you, and then lift through the hips. Opening the chest and the hips, squeezing the buttocks. Gently set the hips back down, or the buttocks back down on your heels, and then roll onto your back. So we're coming into our shoulder bridge here. Feet hip width apart. Engage the core, drawing the belly button down to the spine. Hands down by your side. Roll up through the spine as you push through both legs, squeezing the glutes. Drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Slowly roll back down through the ground. Tap tailbone on mat, and then roll up. Stay connected with the breath. Let it dictate the tempo of the movement and the quality of the movement. You're looking for stability through the hips, extension through the spine, opening of the hips, squeezing gently through the back of the legs, the glutes, but keeping the core engaged. Slowly rolling back down, and then drawing both thighs into the chest. As you exhale, lift the chest into the thighs. Just take a moment here to decompress the lower back. And then we're going to release the left leg, extending down the mat, squeezing the tops of the thighs. Draw the right knee center chest with the left hand. Single leg stretch, deep breath in. Exhale, pull, pull, and switch. Use the breath. Stretching the tops of the thighs of that bent leg. Drawing the chest into thigh and actively squeezing through the abdomen, drawing the belly button down towards the spine. Last one. Draw both thighs into chest. Deep breath in and release. Extend both arms overhead. Take a big stretch. Extend both legs down the mat and slowly roll up. Beautiful work. We're going to bend through one leg. So we're grounding one foot, extending through the opposite leg. We're taking both hands behind us, nice and long through the spine. Fingertips are facing inwards towards your buttocks, and then push through all 10 fingers. As you inhale, engage the core. Exhale, lift through the hips for a modified reverse plank. Feel free to let the head hang, open the throat, or gently tuck the chin. Find that length through the spine. Inhale, slowly roll down. Tailbone taps and lift. Big squeeze through the glutes. And that extended leg, you're driving the heel down into the ground. So we're now really engaging the back of the leg. Slowly roll down. And change side. So feel free to gently shake out the wrists before coming back into your reverse plank. Deep breath in, length through the spine, engage the core. Exhale, lift through the hips. I want you to squeeze the back of both arms so you'll really find that extension through the arms and squeezing the triceps. Gently roll down through the ground. I said the ground. Roll down through the back of the leg and then lift. Exhale. Hold. Core engaged. Beautiful line through the crown of your head through to the tips of your toes. And slowly roll back down. Extend through both arms and both legs, sorry. Flex the feet. And inhale, circle the arms overhead. And then exhale, hinge forwards at the hips for forward fold, drawing the chest down towards your thighs. Let your arms rest where they may. And you're looking for a stretch through the back of the legs. Let the inward breath open the ribs and stretch out the upper back. One final breath in here, roll up through the spine. Set your hands behind you, length through the spine, and then roll down to the ground. So bending both knees in and sending your heels towards your hand. Tuck the chin gently, and then reaching the hands past the hips, rolling up through the spine, squeezing your abdomen, rolling down through the spine. Finally untucking the chin. Tuck and curl up. Each time you curl up, try and lift the upper back off of the ground a little bit more. Drawing the fingertips towards the heels. Hold. And we're going to stay here for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Lift a bit more. 3, 2. We're slowly rolling down to the ground. Circling the arms overhead. Extending through both legs. Flex the feet and roll up. Float the arms overhead. Rolling up through the spine. Grounding through the heels as you roll up. Lengthen through the spine and roll back down. Straighten through the legs. The aim is to try and keep the back of the legs glued to the mat. There may be a little bit of momentum through the arms. Roll back down one more time for the roll up. Ooh, I felt my legs come up just a little bit there. Grab the back of your thighs, and I want you to position yourself on the top edge, or should I say the bottom of the mat, bending through the knees, bringing the feet hip width apart, and then hands around the ankles or just above the ankles. Take a nice deep breath in, find length through the spine, draw the shoulders down the spine, and then tuck the hips, bringing your belly button into your spine. So we're creating that small C curve through the lower back. Shift back onto tailbone, toes come off the ground. So we're going to roll like a ball here. So as you release the breath, roll back through the spine. You're looking for that gentle massage of your entire spine along the mat, keeping that core engagement and trying to find a smooth transition without swinging the legs, using that inner momentum and that core strength. And try, if you can, coming back up onto your tailbone. Hold that balance and then slowly return your feet to the ground. Extend through the legs. Give them a shake out, loosen up the hips if you need to, and then we're rolling down through the spine. Taking both legs into your chest. Inhale, lift chest to thighs. Then as you exhale, extend both legs 45 degrees and arms overhead for double leg stretch. Inhale, draw the thighs back into chest. Exhale, stretch and pull and stretch. All the while you're keeping the thighs glued together and the back of the spine grounded in the mat. And last one, exhale to stretch. Inhale, draw the thighs to chest. One last breath in, and then roll down through the spine. Return your feet to the floor. So I would like you to bring, as we're coming into single leg glute bridge, we're going to take one heel off of the ground, find that engagement through the spine. As we lift the hips off of the ground, we keep the heel elevated for single leg shoulder bridge. Rolling down, keeping the toes down lightly for support. Tailbone meets the ground, and then lift again. So what you're looking for is each section of the spine to meet the mat. Stability through the hips and the entire spine. Slowly rolling down one last time, and then return the heel to ground and change side. Lift through the hips, roll up through the spine, keeping the feet hip width. That's going to give you good stability. If you find that you need to take them slightly wider than the hips to maintain stability, then find what feels good to you. I really want you to maintain that control as we come up for the last time. Big squeeze in the glutes and slowly rolling back down through the ground. Tailbone meets the mat, and then the heel makes contact with the floor. Pull both thighs into your chest and slowly roll up to a seated position. And we're extending through both legs, extending the hands behind you. So we're going to work through one leg as we come into a single leg lift. And we're pointing through the toes and then lifting through the leg. Slowly lower down and lift. Keep that length through the spine, core engagement, and lower. Tap the ground. Imagine that there's eggshells beneath your foot. One more time and slowly lower. Switch side. And what's more important than how high you're lifting the leg is making sure you keep that good alignment through the spine. Last time, slowly lower. Bend both knees. So we're going to bring it all together. And we're extending through one leg, bringing it into tabletop, extending both arms. Extending both arms out in front of you, Roll down through the spine. Keep the leg in tabletop, float the arm overhead. And as you exhale, roll back up, extend through the leg. Keep the leg there, roll down through the ground or through your spine and roll up. So you're pulling the chest towards that thigh. Last time, rolling down. Float the arm overhead and then circle the arm back around. Bend through the knee and set the foot down. So opposite side, extend to tabletop, float the arm overhead and roll up. Gently send the spine back down to the ground. And with this next roll up, we're extending through the leg. Ooh. One side is definitely weaker than the other. There we go, a little bit of momentum there through the arm. Stretch through that extended leg, roll up. So this is one of my most challenging moves, this teaser modified. Roll up one final time. Bend through the knee, set the foot down, and then bring the hands behind you, fingers facing away. Feet hip width apart, lengthen through the spine. Take a nice breath in and slide the hips forwards to find that opening of the chest and shoulders. And if you want to take this stretch a little bit deeper and into your hips, then with the next breath out, you're lifting the hips off of the ground and gently squeezing through the glutes. We're not here for long. Feel free to allow the head to fall back to open the throat. And then inhale, set the hips down. And then we're rolling down onto the ground. Bringing the thighs together, arms out by your side. And send the hips over to one side, looking over the opposite shoulder for a hip twist. Deep breath in. Exhale, release all the tension. All the hard work's done. And with the next breath in, bring the hips to center. And exhale, switch side, keeping the back of the arms and shoulders on the ground. And enjoying this stretch sensation through the lower spine. Then with the next inward breath, bring the hips back to center. And we're going to allow the thighs to fall apart, soles of the feet come together. And you can rest your hands where they are or bring them to the inside of the thighs or on your belly, whatever feels good for this reclined butterfly. Just going to enjoy this final stretch where we allow the hips to open, close the eyes down, and observe the breath as it comes and as it goes. And then using your hands, gently help the hips by closing them in. Pull the thighs into your chest and roll up to a seated position to finish off. Beautiful work, a nice strong flow there, nice strong workout. There's loads of areas that I myself need to work on, but also I'm sure you've discovered some areas of yourself that need a little bit more attention and improvement. That's the beauty of this challenge. We are discovering all these hidden challenges together. So until the next day, which is day 10, I will love you and leave you. Stay blessed. Peace.